Next up on our gods and goddesses of Mesopotamia, we're going to talk about the big bright one in the sky, Shamash. So to start things off, I'm actually going to read the great hymn to Shamash. You climb to the mountains, surveying the earth. You suspend from the heavens the circle of the lands. You care for all the peoples of the lands. Whatever has breath, you shepherd without exception. You are their keeper in upper and lower regions. Regularly and without cease, you traverse the heavens. Every day you pass over the broad earth. You never fail to cross the wide expanse of sea. Shamash, your glare reaches down to the abyss, so that monsters of the deep behold your light. At your rising, the gods of the land assemble, the whole of mankind bows to you. It's pretty awesome, right? So, anywho, back to business. So, we're talking Shamash here. Shamash, also known as Utu. U-T-U. Alright, so, let's see. So, Shamash is the twin of Ishtar and the son of Nana. He's the god of the sun. His consort, or wife, is Aya, A-Y-A, or Aya. There you go. And Aya is Akkadian for dawn, like dawn of the sun, right? And so Shamash had temples in Sippar and Larsa, and they were called A-Babar, E-B-A-B-B-A-R, which translates to White House, which is really interesting. So, Shamash judged wrongdoings. He was the god of justice and equality, warmth and vegetation, mainly because, sunlight lets things grow, right? So let's see. By the way, he was also a Reshkagal and Adad's brother. So we're going to keep going. So, during the night, Shamash would enter the underworld and he would judge those down in the underworld. His symbols are the staff, a ring, a notched dagger, mainly because he cuts through the mountains at sunrise to rise up. So that was kind of interesting how he has a dagger to cut through the mountains in the morning. He was also symbolized by a disc, which is like a sun disc, right? So you have the circle in the middle. I tried to find a royalty-free image of this, but you guys can Google it. So it's a circle in the middle, and it's got 4 rays that are north, east, south, west, and then it has these little wiggly rays on the northeast, southeast, southwest, and northwest parts of it, if you compare it to a compass. So, anywho, where am I going? Yep. So, it was like in the stories, Shamash gave Hammurabi his code, and he was thought that 2 beings opened the doors in the east at sunrise for him, and same at sunset. I think they were like lesser gods, probably his children. But I wasn't able to confirm that. So, he's the patron god of travelers and transients. He was prayed to for help with illness and when dealing with negative spirits. People gave offerings to the dead, so when Shamash visited them in the underworld, they'd be doing fine, and when Shamash would favor their living relatives who took care of the dead. So, you would basically pay homage to Shamash in hopes that those that have passed on would be taken care of. And if you mistreated the dead, I think Shamash had a problem with that. So he was much more well behaved than other gods. In terms of like sleeping with somebody else or tricking other gods and such. So in the Epic of Gilgamesh, Shamash supports and gives his blessing to Gilgamesh to go into the forests of Lebanon and slay Humbaba or Humwawa. A clue to the sun salutation, which is when you're up like this, when you're greeting the sun. I think it's like a golden dawn move. Correct me if I'm wrong. Put it in the comments, guys. That's actually in the Epic of Gilgamesh, where Gilgamesh's mother set incense in front of Shamash. She offered fragrant cuttings and raised her arms to him. I paraphrased the hymn part because it really said Shamash, but it phrased better, didn't it? So Shamash was known to have powers over over 13 winds, which is actually really interesting. In the Epic of Gilgamesh, they were the south, the north, the east, the west, the whistling, the piercing, the blizzard, the bad, the wind of Simuru, the demon wind, ice wind, storms, and sandstorm. So, he's the big boss in the sky, so of course he can control that kind of stuff, right? People prayed to Shamash to free them from demonic influence or if they unjustly suffered from something. Like if they were wronged or cheated or something like that. So Shamash had two children with Ea, which is Ketu, who is a lesser god of justice, god or goddess, I can't remember, and Misharu. So Ketu means justice, and Misharu means law. Either it means that, or that's what they were kind of deities of, but I wasn't able to kind of get a translation-y kind of thing on that. So the dead were thought to enter Ganzir. This is a little side note. So when the dead entered Ganzir, they did so through the westernmost edge of the world, right? So there was supposed to be an entrance there. Now, here's the thing. Shamash also entered the underworld through that westernmost part of our plane, flat earth plane. Just being funny. Or am I? Anywho, so the idea is, or was, that that same path that the dead took, Shamash also took. And he was said to have an underground dwelling at the end of the world, right? Kind of under the world. Not the underworld, but under the world. But the idea is that the path to the underworld also included Shamash's dwelling, or there were like an entrance to Shamash's dwelling, and then hey, here's the entrance to the underworld. So one tale has them being connected and being through like the same doorway, and the other has them being like separate places. That's just kind of interesting though. So there's another interesting thing. There was a group of females called the Naditu, and they were secluded women who worshipped Shamash's consort Aya at Shamash's temples. So they were kind of like nuns, you know? And I already said that point. And then here's another interesting ritual kind of thing that I learned about. It's called Hasadu, Hasadu, which kind of means sacred marriage, where statues of Aya and Shamash were put on a bed, like a whole room was like cleared out and made sacred and stuff, and they put the two statues on the bed to kind of reconfirm their sacred marriage. Because let's remember that gods and goddesses were thought to inhabit the statues that humans made for them. So it was like their vessel in a way. You know, kind of like that shrine back there. You know, because deities kind of had to have a physical vessel in the world, so people had a focal point to project their worship, to make offerings. That's why we have temples. That's why even like the Temple of Jerusalem, right? It had the Holy of Holies, and then it had the Ark of the Covenant in the middle. It'd be really interesting to do a truckload of research on that and maybe make a vid on it, but it's kind of not my spiel. But that would be rather interesting, because what was that thing? Anyway, I'm getting off topic. So that is Shamash, or Utu, in a nutshell, in terms of his characteristics and his family, what he does, some of what he would do traveling across the sky, and all that stuff. So you guys can let me know what you think down in the comments. You can communicate and connect with me through any of my other social media links and my email, which you will find at the end of this video. Let me know about any other videos you want me to make or any other suggestions that you might have. Good hunting. Thanks for watching my video. So if you want to check out my playlists, I have, among others, the Simon Necronomicon, the Tree of Life, General Magic, Tulpamancy, a playlist on my books, the elements, stones, the theories that govern magic, and the gods and goddesses of Mesopotamia. If you want to check out my books on Amazon, I have Creating Consciousness, Magical Mechanics, Magical Theater, Handy Sigil Magic, and The Guide to the Spheres and Beyond. You can also find me on Facebook at Magickology YT. You can email me at priestofthenecro@gmail.com, and you can even check out my Instagram, which is Magickology. And good hunting.